See, we expect, man, we expect the grace and we expect forgiveness, but we don't want to give it.
Yeah, that's good.
Man, we think it's owed to us sometimes. Like, well, you owe it to me. I said I'm sorry, so you have to forgive me, and you have to show me grace. You have to show me mercy. But when it comes around and it's our turn to do it, we're like, nah, I'm good. You hurt me. I'm done. But see, Fuse is always going to be a family that shows grace.
Amen. Amen.
I don't care what you've done in your past. I don't care what things have happened to you or whatever, or where you've been. When you come into this room, we're going to love on you. We're going to show you mercy. We're going to show you grace. You can do it right. I was telling the leaders today, man, I heard this story quite a few years ago, and this lady has her car stolen out of her driveway. And, so some time goes by, she files a police report, and she's, making phone calls, and she gets a phone call from the police department, and they're like, hey, we found your car. And she's like, well, great, that's awesome. So the little lady goes to the police department, and sure enough, they have her car. And he says, also, we caught the guy that stole it. And she brings her into this room where this guy's at, and he's like, this is the guy that stole it. This is a young teenager boy. I think they said he was like 18 years old. And so the cop starts asking questions, and he's asking the boy questions, he's asking the lady questions. And so he comes down to the final question. He's like, ma'am, do you want to press charges? And for me, look, you stole my stuff? Yeah, you go to jail. Jail, lock, clank. All right? It's done. You had your chance, buddy. That's kind of my reaction. But this lady says, you know what? No, I'm not going to press charges. I'm not. It's done. Let it go. I'm like, Grandma, are you kidding me? He stole your car. Your Cadillac. All grandparents drive Cadillacs. Don't matter how old they are or what they smell like. They drive a Caddy. And so the lady's like, no, I'm not pressing charges. Let it go. And the cop turns to her and goes, man, that's some grace right there. She goes, no, that's forgiveness. And she takes her keys and she throws the keys to the boy and says, that's grace, and gives the guy the car. What? Oh my God! You're kidding me! So look, there's a difference between forgiveness and there's a difference between grace. See, forgiveness, man, we are supposed to forgive. If someone comes to us and does us wrong, we're supposed to forgive. But grace is that extra step. It's that extra thing that doesn't deserve. See, when we come to Jesus and Jesus, I'm sorry for things I've done. I've messed up. I've sinned against you. Lord, just forgive me. And see, Jesus doesn't just forgive us. He shows us grace by giving us things. He shows us blessings. He pours out in our life and makes sure that we have things that we wish we had. And He fills all of our heart's desire because His grace. Amen. He allows us. See, what His grace does, it allows me to stand on this platform today and be able to tell you and stand here and say, look, I know the grace of God because, you see, 10 years ago, I screwed up every day of my life and ruined some other people's lives. But then there was one moment where Jesus said, I'll forgive you, Justin, and I'm still going to put a call in your life. Amen. That is grace. And see, I hear all the time when young people come and talk to me, and they're like, man, I want to do something for God, but I don't think that God will let me. See, I've messed up. I've sinned too much. I've done too much. There's not enough forgiveness in the world to forgive me for the things I've done. And meanwhile, Jesus says, no, I still have a call on you. I still have a purpose. You still have a plan to walk out and to change people's lives. Amen. See, the enemy wants to come in and say, yes, you may be forgiven, but God will never let you step out of this moment. See, that's not God. See, my Bible tells me when Jesus forgives us of our sin, He casts it as far as the east is from the west. That it's done, it's forgiven. But see, Satan wants to throw that back in you in your face and say, you know what? You'll never experience grace. And I thank God every day for grace. deserve it. A lot of you know my story. A lot of you heard my testimony, man. I acted like an idiot in high school. And I knew from a young age that God had a call on my life. I knew that. All the old ladies in my church, the Lord told me that you were going to do this, you were going to preach, you were going to let more people live in you, you're going to reach the nations. I'm like, what? And so from a young age, I remember hearing that. But see, I got into my high school years and just decided I didn't want that. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to be the prodigal son and go and do whatever. And see, man, I was the guy, I'd be leading worship with my guitar. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the guy over here, I'm like, punch in the face like that. I'm acting like a complete dummy, all right? And I was still in church, still leading worship. There's something wrong with that. Okay? There's something wrong with that. And so I remember, man, and so it got to the point where people in my youth group would start talking. Man, trust me, he's a hypocrite, man. He's always doing this. And then he acts like he's the tough guy. And he's so stupid. I can't stand him. And I hear him talking about me. I'm like, punch the face, what? You know, I'll be leading worship. I know you're talking about me. Say something in my face. Say something. Say something. Say something right now. Justin, we're worshiping. Sorry. Jesus. You know. That's all kind of messed up. But see, I remember those moments, man. In the moments, man. But see, they didn't know what was really going on. See, about 2 years after going dumb, man, there was a moment where I was like, God, I'll come back. And I remember trying to get back into my youth group and trying to get plugged back in. And I got cold shoulders. I remember this, man. I remember it so clear. I remember coming back and some of the people that were my friends, and I remember trying to get back and get back right with God and get my life back. And I remember getting the shoulders and saying, you know what, dude, you've done too much. I don't want to talk to you. We're not friends. And I remember that feeling. I know that some of you in this room have experienced that feeling where, man, yes, you've messed up and you've done some wrong things, but when you tried to come back, those people that you expected to be there turned your back on you. And so, man, I want you to think about that moment, and think about that moment when someone you tried to make it right, and they just turned their back and they said, you know what, no, I'm done. I'll never forgive you. I can never do this. And remember that moment that you desperately wanted grace and forgiveness. And you never got that. But see, Fuse, here we have to be centered on that grace. Amen. Man, we throw forgiveness out so easy. Okay, I forgive you. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. All right, yeah, I forgive you. And we kind of brush it off and we forget the importance of that. We forget the value on how important it is to be forgiven. And so when we go to that person and they just shrug us off, like God, man. So Fuse, we have to be someone that not only forgives, but we offer grace, that we go above that. Man, there's been so many young people that have come into this youth ministry that is hurting, that their family is broken, that they've done some things that they're not proud of, and they're just looking for forgiveness. They're just looking for love. And so when they come in this room, they have to find it here. Amen. They have to. It cannot be an option. We can't wake up one day and say, I don't feel like giving grace today. They seem like a nice guy, but I don't think so. No, man, that we always have to offer that. Because I guarantee you there's going to be some young people that walk through these doors and they're at their last string, their last bit of hope, and they're just saying, I want somebody to show me grace. I'm telling you, listen, it's almost every week me and Brittany hear stories of young people your age that have to go through things that at my age I'm not going through, and some of our adults have never gone through. And it sucks, it stinks that these young people at 15 or 14 years old have to go through this this horrible walk in life and go through so much pain. And they come here praying for hope. But see, that all the hope that they're looking for, all the grace that they're looking for, it's not coming from our leaders. It's not coming from me, because it doesn't mean as much when it comes until it comes from someone their age.
Amen.
And I can yell this until I'm blue in the face. I want you to understand that when you give a peer grace and you give a peer forgiveness, it is a lot stronger than just some adult saying, okay, I forgive you and show you grace, because we're supposed to, because we're parents, because we're leaders, and we're supposed to be that way. But when a young person comes in this door and they need grace, they need forgiveness, and a peer, and someone, one of your friends, give that to them, I'm telling you, it changes who they are. Man, I wish when I was coming back to get my life right, I wish that I had a little bit more open arms. I wish that I was able to come back and my friends just come and hurtle around me and just pray. Man, there's power in that. There's power in that when you've done wrong to someone, and that person's the one that comes and kneels down with you. Man, I remember I had a friend of mine. Hold on. I had a friend of mine that right before I moved here to Jacksonville, I was 20 years old, and I had a friend of mine that jacked me over bad. I mean, it was a rough deal, and I was like, man, I'm done. I'm over this. Like, goodbye, peace out.